Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the UroPatient Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Sidis, and I'm bringing this new adventure to you starting today, the UroPatient Podcast. Now, you're probably wondering right now, what the heck is the UroPatient Podcast? And why is this guy wearing a shirt that says UroNurse? Well, UroNurse was the podcast that I put together over a year ago for healthcare workers and providing good urology healthcare workers information on how to learn more about their subjects. Now, one of the things I noticed with putting on this show is that I got a lot of comments on the show that were obviously not coming from healthcare workers, but rather from patients. And when I started seeing all these comments popping up, I realized that we're missing something, that there needed to be something that was patient-centered education rather than centered around healthcare workers. So I knew that there was a need for it and decided that I was going to fill that need with this UroPatient podcast. And that's why I decided to create the UroPatient podcast. You can see it does have a website at uropatient.com. You can check that website out to find out all the information you want to know about the show. Most importantly, you can register as an attendee to see the show. This way here, you'll be able to watch it live. It's live on multiple facets, such as YouTube and Facebook Live. You can watch it any of those places, and you can get links from our website to watch us live. And you can always watch us later. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to help us out by hitting that subscribe button. Also, if you're watching us on Facebook, this is something new I did for the UroPatient podcast that I don't do in the UroNurse one, and that's that I created a Facebook group. Now, I've never done that before, so this is the first time trying that, but I did create the UroPatient Podcast Facebook group. I thought it'd be a good place for patients to kind of hang out and talk about different things or put information out there, ask questions. We'll see how it goes. The show is going to be developed by you. I did put out some group rules, so check those out. Make sure you're complying with our group. If you wanted to watch us on YouTube, you can click the website YouTube link. It'll bring you right to our YouTube area for the patient podcast. Also, that's going to have past episodes. You can watch our shorts or our longer episodes. And if you're watching us and you want to put a question in, I'm going to have questions available. We're doing this in what I call a webinar format so that you're watching, but you can still submit comments. Be glad to take any questions that I can answer. And, again, you're going to drive the show because I don't know what's going to work out best for you. This is all new. It is going to be patient education. That's our primary goal, is to help you, the patient, get through what we do as urology folks. But the information provided on the site is for educational purposes only. It does not substitute for professional medical advice. Consult a medical professional or healthcare provider if you're seeking medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Very important. So, started to think about how I wanted to build the show and what kind of format that I wanted to take on. And I thought everything should be kind of around a question of a what or a how. So we're going to talk about what is this or how is it done? It's going to be every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Again, it's going to be on StreamYard streaming and on Facebook and YouTube. Now, we may go to other formats in the future, but I'm going to start there and see how well the show does. And if it picks up traction, then we'll just start adding in more. It's going to probably be a shorter format, or I know it's going to be a shorter format. I think a half hour would be the longest that I would see the show ever needing to be. And it'll be what it takes to get the information out to you guys in a good manner. It's going to be available always on demand, so you don't have to tune in at 10:30. You can always go to our website and watch the previous episodes, or go to the Facebook group and see the episodes, or our YouTube page. Any of those places, it'll be available. I'm also creating shorts every week. These are like little 1 minute kind of what's going to happen, what's the show all about. Sometimes I'll be able to compress down the main nuggets that you need out of some of these shows into a short. So we'll kind of see how it goes, whatever works best for you guys. But it's going to be in that format that you can kind of flick through on your phone. It seems to be so popular these days. So if you've been hearing some of the stuff that I've been using to promote the show, I've thrown out the very first what question, which is, what are the 5 H's? Little teaser, because I didn't want to put down what they were until I had this episode to try to get people to watch to see what they are. So what are the 5 H's? Now, been involved in urology for the past 40 years. And very commonly, big part that nurses do is is patient education. That's really our main goal, is to get you through these procedures, make sure that you're completely informed on what you need to know about the procedure. And I found this commonality of questions that would keep coming through. And so I put them together as what I call the 5H questions. So what are they? How is it done? How much will it hurt? How long does it take? How long is the recovery? And how well does it work? Pretty much anything we do, patients will ask those questions. So as an example, just to kind of kick things off this week, we're not going in any deep dive into something, but I am going to just show you how the format will work. I take an antibiotic injection as our first subject. So we give antibiotics typically as a preventative measure against infections for procedures that we do in our office. And are almost always done by injection because it works fast. And it's also the best way to prevent some of these problems where, patients are resistant because they overuse the orals. So safest way to give it. So we'll ask the questions. How is it done? So simple on an injection. I always tell patients that it's going to be given in the hip area. A lot of patients want, in their arm, and I'm like, no, it's got to be a big muscle. So we explain how it's actually done. I always want to know, how much is it going to hurt? And there's a lot of needle phobia, and heck, I'm not all that crazy about having a shot either, but patients are always worried about how much is it going to hurt. And I think that that's a good question. And it's best using the pain scale. I didn't make this up. This has been around for a long time. But you can rate your pain on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you probably don't even feel it at all, 5 kind of being hurts a little bit, and 10, ouch, that type of thing. So I think rating pain on a scale of 1 to 10 makes a lot of sense. And for an injection, in my capable hands, it's a 1. I've done a lot of IM injections throughout my career. I started off working on a surgery floor, so a lot of post-op pain injections. So I got really good at giving shots. And that carried on throughout my career. I probably give 10 injections a day of some type of urology medication these days. So it's a skill. And if you're really good at it, and then even the medications, a lot of them are not irritating. Some of them are. So even though you may not feel the injection part, you might feel the medicine as it kind of enters. Well, you can even sometimes use a numbing agent to reconstitute the medicine to make it even less painful. So I always tell patients that scale of 1 to 10, this is going to be a 1 or 2. And happily, I can tell you, most patients will get the shot and they're like, wow, I didn't even feel it. And I'm like, yeah, it's the anxiety over it. Little tricks, you just find out ways to make it not so bad. How long does it take? Well, a shot, couple of seconds, really, 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds at the most. So it's quick. And then how long is the recovery? Well, I always tell patients, by the time you get to your car, you're going to forget I ever gave you that shot. So the recovery for an injection is not even existent. It's almost instantly gone. And then the most important part then again is, how well does it work? And I always like to use evidence-based information to let patients know that this antibiotic will be 97% chance that you will not get an infection because I gave you the shot. So it's those 5 H's are the important things to discuss with patients. So important that on the UroPatient Podcast website at UroPatient.com, I included this download area where you can download a form every week. Whatever I talk about in education, you're going to be able to get that form. This will probably change a little bit, but right now you can click on that picture and it's going to give you the form for those 5H questions. I think this is the perfect thing for you to download and bring to your office visit when you come in to talk to the doctor and ask these questions. If you're having surgery, a lot of times your mind just goes, it's like, wow, I never even, couldn't remember what the doctor told me. So write it down and ask these questions, the 5H's. No matter what they're doing, this is the information you should know. So don't be afraid to ask questions. So take advantage of the 5H handout. It's available on the website at UroPatient.com. And that's going to be our first episode. As I said, these episodes are probably going to all be shorter than a half hour, no longer than a half hour, and probably shorter because whatever it takes to get the information out, that's what I need to cover. Every week, we'll be bringing you some new subject. 52 weeks a year will be a piece of cake. There's so many different things that I've put together with patient education. And I really plan to build up the website with stuff that's really pertinent for you to download. So feel free to utilize that. Download any information. If you have a question, you want to put something in the comments right now, go ahead and put that in. If you want to just say you like the show, that's fine too. I will be able to see those comments if you're putting those up there. Otherwise, I hope you'll tune in next week for more information. Next week, we're going to talk about what is a catheter.
A urinary catheter is a medical device designed to assist in the drainage of urine from the bladder. It consists of a flexible tube made from materials such as rubber, silicone, or latex, with one end inserted into the bladder through the urethra. The other end of the catheter is connected to a collection bag, which can be external or internal, depending on the type of catheter. Urinary catheters are commonly used in various medical situations, such as during surgery or for individuals with urinary retention. Join the UroPatient Podcast at UroPatient.com this Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Central Time to learn more.
So there's that 1 minute little quick clip, like I mentioned. Those are going to always show up as a teaser of what's going on for the next week's episode. And sometimes, like I said, I'll take little nuggets out of there to try to create some of those too. We'll put those in Facebook and YouTube all the time. Also, one of the things I did forget to mention, if you're a healthcare worker and you'd like to discuss a subject, it'll probably be a little boring if it's always me talking about things, although I'm glad to talk about everything there is about urology. But if you'd like to discuss a subject because you're an expert on it and you want to get on the show, feel free to send me your information through our Contact Us form on the website. Just send that saying what you would like to talk about, and we'll be glad to get you on the show. So with that, I'm good with the end of the show. I don't see any comments coming in. So again, you're going to drive the show if we're not getting a lot of questions. I'm glad to not have questions at all. But otherwise, feel free if you want, join that Facebook group and put in anything in there. I'll always monitor those feeds because I know a lot of the show is going to be the on-demand audience, and we hope to see you all next week. Have a great day, the rest of your weekend.